Hi, welcome to the Dream Job Webinar. I'm Vikram Anand, your host, and I'm very excited to have you join us. Are you excited to be here? The webinar will begin in just a couple of minutes as we wait for the others to join in. It's going to be an amazing session where I share that one thing you need to do to get great jobs. Won't it be awesome if you could snag a dream job in just a couple of weeks after this webinar? While we wait for the others to join, type into the contact box which city you're from and let me know. I'm always excited to make new friends from cities throughout the country. Our session together will be approximately 1 hour. In exchange for giving me your precious time, I'm going to be dropping some real value bombs on job search success that will skyrocket you towards getting the job you really want. I'm going to smash some myths you've been told about how to get good jobs and make getting them effortless. Okay guys, to get maximum benefit from the session, I'd like you to shut off all distractions. Shut off Facebook, Instagram or WhatsApp. Close all the other tabs on your browser, put your phone on silent and tell people around you that you don't want to be disturbed for a while. And if you're watching the webinar on a mobile phone, switch over to a laptop or desktop immediately, otherwise you'll miss out on some cool interactive stuff that just doesn't play well on phones. Look, if you're going to be spending time on the webinar, you do want to get the maximum benefits from it, right? By now, I'm sure you're wondering, so who's this guy in this webinar with all these strategies and why is he qualified to teach me about them? My name is Vikram Anand. I've worked in the corporate sector for 23 years and I've been the Chief Marketing Officer of 2 large multinational companies. I've used the exact same system I'm about to reveal to you in my career and I know it works. I'm also the founder of a site called Get Ahead Fast and I've helped hundreds of professionals make the right career choices, find awesome jobs and get promoted fast. My specialty is in working with bright young professionals like you who are action takers. This is a picture I'm proud of. It's my moment of truth when the Government of India's National Career Service signed up with me a few months ago. And this is my family. I'm a father to 2 teenage boys and there's a little pup Cooper who thinks he's my 3rd son. In the early days of my career, when I was a junior client servicing executive, I worked at an advertising agency and found it very hard to move to the other side as a client. I chased a lot of headhunters and knocked on a lot of doors but had no success. Have you ever had a similar experience? Just type yes in the contact box and let me know. And then I stumbled on these 3 secrets that I'm about to reveal to you that enabled me to get a great job as a brand manager at Johnson & Johnson and later at Unilever and Nokia. I use the exact same secrets in my job search so I know they work. Alright, close your eyes and imagine. Imagine what it would be like to wake up every day charged and fully refreshed, rearing to go to work. As you sip your morning coffee or tea, you look forward to meeting your colleagues and friends at this place. You work at a place where you're respected, paid very well, and do meaningful work. Would you like something like that? It's yours for the asking if you pay attention to what's about to follow. Take notes and apply them in your life. Are you ready? Have you got your notepad with you? Let's begin. In today's session, I'm going to reveal how to get dream jobs in top companies like I did without chasing headhunters who don't call you back or facing the embarrassment of rejection by hiring managers who don't even treat you courteously. Listen, if you've been told that the only way to getting a good job is via job portals and headhunters, that is simply not true. The first and most important secret is that you don't have to rely on headhunters and job boards to be successful. In fact, when you leave all your job search success to whether or not a headhunter will call you back or a job board will get you a job, you're placing a lot of power in their hands and making your job search 100% passive. You have almost no control over your job search and become a pawn in the game. You're at the receiving end of whatever they dish out to you. Plus, it becomes a very long, time-consuming process. Now, would you like to reclaim your power back? Would you like to call the shots regarding which jobs to apply for and where you want to work? Would you like to drastically reduce the time it takes you to get the job you really want? Then you have to understand that over 80% of all good jobs are hidden. And this is data quoted by the Wall Street Journal, CNN Money, and Forbes. Quite like an iceberg whose 80% is always under the water. And these jobs cannot be seen on job portals and ads. In fact, even headhunters don't have access to most of these great hidden job opportunities. They are only available through a strategy I'm about to share with you. To prove to you that headhunters and job portals are inefficient, look at this visual. You'll see that a very small part of all good jobs are visible in the open market and to headhunters. There's actually a vast hidden market of great jobs that are available to you if you know how to tap into them. Would you like that? Won't it be awesome if you could bypass the system to effortlessly tap into the hidden job opportunities even before they come into the open market? And if your answer is yes, then listen on. Let's now take a real-life example of how to tap into the hidden job market and connect with prospective hiring managers for jobs that aren't even available yet. Let's assume you're a software developer and you're looking for your next job. Now, if you come to a site like LinkedIn, and if you type in software developer India, you will get a lot of jobs listed on the page, right? Now, I've just picked up some of these jobs randomly, and let's take a look at the kind of competition for those jobs. So there's a job as a software developer at Adobe, which was posted 2 weeks ago. There are more than 500 applicants for this job. All right, let's take a look at a software engineer role at Microsoft. Once again, more than 500 people. At LinkedIn, more than 500 people. So it's the same story everywhere actually. Nokia, more than 500 people. I think you get the picture. The point is that for highly aspirational companies, whenever there's a job opening which comes up on LinkedIn, quickly within a couple of days or maybe a week at most, it gets filled up in terms of the number of applicants. And the number of applicants is not 500, it's way in excess of 500. And your chances of getting a good job on a platform like LinkedIn are very, very slim. What you've got to do is actually get this job before it comes to LinkedIn. And I'm going to share with you the best way of doing that. This is a real ninja tactic. And if you adopt it, I almost guarantee that you will be able to look at jobs, get them before they come onto these portals. Now to do that, what you've got to do is go to Google and make a list before going to Google of the companies you want to target. So let's assume hypothetically that one of the companies you want to target is Oracle. So, you would love to work at Oracle and you've got to enter this into the Google search bar. Oracle India expansion plans. Okay. And you can replace the word Oracle with any of the other names or any of the other companies that you want to target. So let's see what comes up. And let me press news. And the reason we look at news and not all is because we're trying to look for the latest articles about Oracle. And the first one that really comes up and springs at you is Oracle plans $400 million expansion plan in Bangalore. Okay. Oracle firms up plans to set up data center. Oracle announces data center plans. Now, the underlying philosophy of this approach is that any company which is planning to expand is going to need people to fuel that expansion. Normally, companies cannot go into a high growth phase with the same number of people that they have. And therefore, if you can target companies like this, you will be able to be a part of that growth team. Let's see if there are any other articles, because very clearly, okay, here's one. Oracle bets on India to grow cloud business. So Oracle is definitely a company which you should look at if they are your kind of jobs there. Now that we have, homed in on Oracle, the next step is to find out who is the HR head there, or who is the vertical head of the vertical that you specialize in. So now let's enter this phrase, Oracle India HR head, and let's see what comes up. So you have Pradeep Kumar Mandal. Let's open this up. Let's open this tab because he's the HR Senior Director. And is there anything else that is interesting? No. So let's look at Pradeep Kumar Mandal. He's the Group Manager, Human Resources. So he's the kind of person you need to get in touch with if you're applying for a role, or if you want to apply for a role. You might want to open up this tab. He's the Director of Oracle Talent Advisory. Anybody else? So the point is, when you come to one profile, it's really important to take a look at some of the other profiles which might be related to the kind of person you want to get in touch with at Oracle. Senior Director HR at Oracle. So let's open this up. And I think that should do. Now, try to connect with a couple of these people. And the aim in this connect right now is not to ask for a job. Let me show you what needs to be done. The next step is to connect, and there are two ways to do it. One is to press this blue button called connect. The other, and the preferred route, is to use your mutual connections. So I'm going to click this, and I'm going to see who are the people who are connected to that gentleman and me. And through these shared connections, I will try to get a connect to Pradeep Kumar Mandal. Once I'm connected with him, the important thing is never to ask for a job, but ask for advice on how you can be a part of the growth team at Oracle. You write to him and you congratulate him and the team for having major expansion plans in Oracle. And you say, hey, how can I be a part of this growth team? So what you would do is, one is to go through the mutual connections. The other is, if you don't have any connections, press connect. Always add a note. The lazy way of trying to connect with a person is just clicking this button which says send now. But it's always much better to add a note and then write a small note. Just write a small note which says, hi Pradeep, would love to get connected with you on LinkedIn, and leave it at that. Once he connects with you, his profile will open up and you will be able to see his personal email address. Do not write to him on his personal email address, but also once you connect with him, these two buttons will disappear and will be replaced by a button which says message. You will be able to message him directly. Write a message to him requesting him for his professional email address. Normally people are quite happy to give you that. Once he gives you his professional email address, you can then write to him and request him for advice on how you could be a part of the growth team at Oracle. Always ask for advice, never ask for a job. And remember to do a flanking strategy. So once you write to this person, remember we have opened up some more profiles at Oracle. So this person is, for example, the Director of Talent Advisory at Oracle. This person is a Senior HR Director at Oracle. So write to a couple of them with the same strategy. The strategy should be, number one, see if you have any mutual connections and use that mutual connection to connect with the targeted person. If you don't have a mutual connection, connect directly, but always remember to add a note. Now, in this case, you may not be able to connect directly because this person's privacy, settings require you to enter his email address, which you probably won't have. That's why it's important to try to connect with 3-4 people, so that if you are not able to connect with one of them, there are other people that you can connect with. So for example, if I was to come here, add a note, write a note here, and then send an invitation to connect. This is the strategy I'd recommend to tap into the hidden job market and get dream jobs. It's proactive and puts you in the driver's seat regarding your job search. You're not dependent on headhunters or hiring managers. Instead, you go after them. In this example, you don't even know if there's a job at Oracle or not right now. But you know that they are going to be expanding, and by reaching out to them first, you place yourself ahead of the competition immediately. So let's recap the key rules that we learned in this lesson. First is to find companies in your industry that have expansion plans, and you do that through Google search. Next, find out who are the HR directors as well as other senior HR managers and the head of the vertical you would like to work at. You can easily do this on LinkedIn for any company. Next, connect with them via mutual connections, preferably. Then ask for advice, but never for jobs. Asking for advice gets you a foot in the door, but asking for jobs will get you thrown out immediately. And finally, select at least 4 or 5 companies and use the same strategy in all of them to improve your chances of getting the kind of job you really want. The second important secret is that your LinkedIn profile is more important than your resume. You see, most people haphazardly put together a LinkedIn profile because they want to have at least a profile on LinkedIn. What they don't realize is that when you proactively connect with a hiring manager via the route described earlier, he's going to look you up on LinkedIn first, and your profile better be very good. He's going to take a decision whether to ask you for your resume or not based on what he sees on LinkedIn. So is your current profile top class to stand that scrutiny? Look, LinkedIn cannot be taken for granted. It's a very important part of your digital footprint, especially when you're searching for a job. And there's some ninja tactics you must apply to your LinkedIn profile that I'll reveal to you in a minute that will make your profile shine. All right, let's assume now that you have made that vital connection to the hiring manager or the HR head of the company you want to apply at. Now he or she has seen those emails and is quite intrigued by who you are and the initiative that you have shown. So the first thing that they're going to do is look you up on the internet. And on the internet, they'll type in your name and they'll try to see who you are on LinkedIn. So you've got to have a rock star profile on LinkedIn to stand out head and shoulders above the crowd. So we're going to take a look at how to do that. Now, what I'd like to do is to show you my profile on LinkedIn. Something to note is that my profile is certainly not the best out there. It's a decent profile, and I'd like to show you what I have done so that you can learn from the steps that I have taken and then improve on those. Plus, I'll show you a couple of mistakes not to make. So this is my profile on LinkedIn. And now let's start right at the very top. We are going to start with the URL. This is the LinkedIn URL that I have. Now, typically when you sign up for LinkedIn, LinkedIn gives you a default URL and it will be something like, linkedin.com/in/ your first name dash last name dash an alphanumeric string. So in my case, it was Vikram, linkedin.com/in/Vikram dash Anand dash and then some random string of alphanumeric numbers. This makes your URL look pretty tacky, and LinkedIn actually gives you a way to get a very nice URL, a bit like what I have. It would have been even better if I had been able to get linkedin.com/in/Vikram, but that had already been taken. So I'm going to show you how you can, if you don't have a great URL on LinkedIn, how you can create what is called a vanity URL. So let's go to the backend of your LinkedIn page. And when you come to that, you will see this section here. So go to edit your profile. Click it, let it open up. And then you will come to this edit public profile URL. This is where when you click this little pencil icon, you can write anything that you want. It could be your name, it could be your nickname, it could be a pen name, whatever you want. And you can change that ugly looking URL string that by default LinkedIn gives you. I'm happy with what I have, so I'll just say cancel right now. And we are now going to go back to my LinkedIn profile. So the first step that you've got to take is to have a nice looking LinkedIn profile that you can paste on your resume and many of the internet properties that you're going to have on the net as you build your digital footprint. The next thing that you've got to do is have a good cover image. Now, if you look around and you look at the LinkedIn profile of many of your friends or just about anybody on the net, chances are that most of them don't take the effort and the time to put a good cover image. That background image is, can strategically make your profile shine. So the couple of things that you've got to do. One is create that image. So how do you do that? Let me just go back here to my image and say update background photo. Let me click that, and it's saying that to upload a photo, the ideal size is 1536 pixels by 768 pixels. So it's good to first get a image in that particular size so that the image doesn't break or pixelate when you upload it. Now what you've got to do is go to a site called Canva, canva.com. So I'm going to open up Canva, okay, and go to custom dimensions. So if you remember this, the dimensions was 1536 by 768 pixels, and we can start designing it. Note that Canva is free to use, and therefore it's really simple and no reason why you can't have an image which is exactly to the dimension that you want. Once you do that, go to elements, go to free photos. So Canva gives you lots of free photos that you can use to create your background image. So and select an image. Now when it comes to selecting an image, you've got to be a bit smart here. Let's go back to the image that I've selected. Select an image which is a bit dark, because when you select a slightly dark image, your picture by contrast will stand out. If you choose an image which is very bright, which is sunny, which has lots of yellows and oranges, your picture will start fading into the background. It won't be as sharply defined. So choose something which is slightly dark in color. Let's go back to Canva and let's assume, wait 1 minute. Let's assume that we decide to take this picture. Oh, this is not a great picture, because the lower part of it is still not as dark as we would like it to be. Hypothetically, let's use this. Now what we do is we stretch the picture so that it fills up the entire fills up the entire grid from edge to edge, and then click download, and always download as a PNG, although you can download it as a PNG or JPEG. Click download and download it onto your computer. Then you come back here to your profile and you come to update background photo, upload that photo, and it will feature here. So that's how you change your background and you have a strategically placed background image. So think about the strategy behind what image that you're going to use, and then change the image from the default pattern that LinkedIn has. The next thing you've got to do is to select your image. Now when it comes to selecting your image, I've seen people make a lot of mistakes. So first let's look at what not to do, and then I'll show you what you should be doing. I'm going to show you some samples of people who have selected an image to put on the profile, but it doesn't really show them in the best possible light. Let's look at each of them one by one. Note that I'm not pulling them down, but I just think that if you can reflect on what they have done, you will not make the mistake that they have made. In this profile, the person is not looking at you. You can see the eyes are pointing to or looking at something off screen. There is too much of orange in the picture, very high degree of contrast, and it's clearly not a studio shot. It's something which has been cropped out of some other photograph, and this is not the best way of using that space for your personal profile picture. The problem with this picture is that the picture has zoomed out and you can't even see the person's face. You're seeing a lot of the torso and a distracting background at the back, but there's not much that you can see about the person. And if this person was to pass you by on a busy street or in any office, chances are you'll never recognize them from this picture. In this case, the person has included a picture of their son or relative or whoever it may be. This is incorrect. It's the wrong way of using this space. It should always be a picture of just you, not your spouse or any member of the family. In this case, this is a tight crop of the person's face and the dimensions are correct, but one side of the face is completely dark. Now this is pretty dramatic lighting and is suitable if you've got your own personal portfolio you're creating, but it is not the right thing to use for your LinkedIn picture. Once again, the picture has zoomed out too much. You can't see the person at all. It's an attractive picture, lots of books at the back, white bookcase, but it's not doing the role that it's designed for, of being able to see the person really well. Ensure that your face is clearly lit and visible. You should be smiling a bit in the picture. In fact, in hindsight, I should have been smiling a little bit more. Because I used to be a corporate professional, having a jacket, carrying out wearing a jacket is quite fine. Ensure that the background is light in color so that it contrasts with the outline of your head and your shoulders and makes them stand out. If you have a very busy background or a very colorful one, you will blend, you will merge into that background. So ensure that it's always white or off-white. But don't make the mistake of using your passport photograph for this, please. For example, this is clearly not a passport photograph picture because I'm standing to a slight angle. This side of my face has more light than this one, but yet you can see the eyes clearly. Make the picture a little interesting. Just look up for many of the other interesting pictures of people on LinkedIn and get some inspiration from there. Now let's move beyond the picture to this part here. The important thing that you've got to keep in mind when it comes to LinkedIn is that 80%, or maybe even more, but definitely at least 80% of attention that the HR manager is going to pay to your profile is going to be around your picture to see who you are. This little tag which tells them who you are and what you do. Your summary, which we will look at in a minute, and your current experience. So let's go back here. Now, typically, when you look at the designations that people have, they normally write, CXO at a particular organization or brand manager at a particular organization. These days, with a lot of people setting up companies, it's quite common to see youngsters, having a title which says founder at or CEO at. The point is, if you use the same designations, you end up blending into the crowd, and that's the last thing we want, because the first impact of who you are comes with what you write here. So I could, for example, have written founder at Get Ahead Fast and just left it there. But what I've done is two things. I've changed it to a slightly tongue-in-cheek designation. See, I am the founder and CEO of my company, but instead of writing that, which is what 99.99% of people write, I've chosen to write that I am the chief wizard at Get Ahead Fast, which is my company. Next, the important thing is that's my designation, but it's not who I am or what I do. I've now mentioned what I do or what my company does, which is creating transformational impact on millennials entering the corporate world. This is really important. You are not your designation. Don't leave it only to your designation. So what I've done here is I have talked about what my company and I are trying to achieve. So when a person comes to this profile and sees the picture, the tongue-in-cheek designation, it brings a smile to their face, and then they see what what that person is trying to achieve. This immediately, separates me head and shoulders above my peer group who just write that they are the chief marketing officer of organization XYZ, or they are the founder of a particular company. If you're a founder of a particular company, it's a good idea to mention what that company does. I've also used, these little symbols here, which are a visual relief. It's called a visual relief in a lot of text. Now let's move to the summary. And you don't have to read my summary. You can read it offline if you are really interested. But there's a strategy behind the summary. The first thing that I've done is I've written a bit about what I have done. I've written it in third person. You typically don't say I am or I have done. So I've written it in third person that Vikram is, he has, his second venture, etc. Next, I've broken it up into a couple of paragraphs, and each paragraph is relatively short so that it's not heavy on the eyes to read. I've also brought in other symbols. So earlier we had used the little arrow, but now I brought in stars. So when a person looks at my summary and sees that there are 5 stars there, it sort of makes it look more interesting and something that they may want to read. And finally, I wrap it up with my email address with a little icon here and my mobile number with my icon. Now according to me, it's important to write your email address and icon in your summary. Why? Because if you don't, if a person is not connected with you on LinkedIn, they can't access your email address or your number. And if you're looking for a job, then headhunters or hiring managers will first have to connect with you on LinkedIn and then ask you for your email address and your mobile number. So you might as well place it in the summary in the first place if you are either looking for a job or prospecting for business, which I do. So I always make it a point to ensure that my email address and my mobile number is visible in the summary. Let's now move on to the next section, which is about Vikram's articles and activities. It's a good idea to have a couple of articles written. I only have one, but I think you should certainly have more than 5 if you're looking for a job, and make sure those articles are well written, they're short, they are written around the points of interest that you may want to talk about or your specialization. So be strategic in the articles that you write, but have between 3 to 5 articles here. Now let's come to your experience. Typically, the headhunter or the hiring manager or the HR manager who is trying to figure out who you are will look at your current experience and max at your experience plus the experience prior to that. They're not going to go through your entire LinkedIn profile. But your current experience is probably the most important. So 2 things you should do here is write in as much detail as you can, but keeping it to just a couple of lines and not more than 2 to 3 paragraphs. I've now brought in another interesting little symbol that I'm using now in this section on experience to talk about the experience that I have. So I'm using tick marks here. If you can, bring in media. So if you're in marketing, you will be able to show your advertising. If you, like me, you have a website, then you can show a website. So for example, this link links up to getaheadfast.com. If you have some images which show you in great light, then upload those images here. If you remember when we were back in play school or in kindergarten, there was something called show and tell. So your LinkedIn profile should have a bit of a show and tell element. And the media section in your experience is the perfect place to do a show and tell, where visually you can show the person the kind of work that you are doing or have done. I'm also currently a faculty member at the Indian Institute of Management at Ahmedabad. So I've written about that here. And in media, I've linked to the program in which I teach. Prior to that, I was the head of marketing at a company called Cargill Foods. And if you open that up, now you'll see what I've started doing is condensing my work experience because it's a little dated. So I was, there between 2010 and 2014, and that's a couple of years back. So I've started shortening all my experience, but since I was responsible for creating a couple of television ads, I make sure I link to them so a person can click these ads and watch them. So make sure that you don't compromise or reduce your media elements, but you can now start reducing your text in your work experience as you go back in time. So you start filling up all this. Then obviously, this is pretty simple. Fill in your education, etc. Your featured skills and endorsement. When it comes to recommendations, you must have more than 5 to 6 recommendations by other people. Now, we all know that recommendations are you scratch my back, I scratch yours. So people do take recommendations with a large dose of salt, but it's still important to have recommendations. And if you can have recommendations by people of stature, people who are in the C-suite, CXOs, then those recommendations start carrying weight. And it's not necessary that you have to write a recommendation for a person who writes one for you. So for example, I have received 11 recommendations, but I've actually given only 1. Fill in your accomplishments. So if you're taking courses, and there's no reason why you can't take free online courses and paid online courses, mention them here. Mention any certifications you've got, organizations you belong to. Fill in your section on interest. Fill in, between 5 to 10 areas of interest, and make sure you can support that. So that pretty much wraps up how to create a good LinkedIn profile. It doesn't take very long. In fact, in a day's time, if you have all your elements and thoughts together, you can create a rockstar LinkedIn profile. And it's really important you do that, because this is your chief digital footprint out there. When anybody starts searching for you, they will first try to figure out who you are on LinkedIn, what do you look like, and then take a call from there whether they want to get in touch with you or not. So it's extremely important to have a professional LinkedIn profile. So you've discovered the first 2 steps to tapping into the hidden job market to get dream jobs you really want. These are powerful steps if well executed, and I know because I've used them during my career. But this is just the beginning. There are 7 other equally important steps to be undertaken if you want to get invited for a job interview, ace it, and get a high-paying job. These steps are how to create a world-class resume that the hiring manager will want to read rather than toss it into the dustbin in 5 seconds. How to research opportunities like a real pro. Most candidates only check out a company's website before going for the interview. And that's actually the last thing to do, and probably the least important. You need to know how to network like a champ as a young professional and get to know of jobs before anybody else does. You need to learn how to build your personal brand so that the hiring manager is aware of you even before you write to him or meet him. You need to learn a couple of very important things for the dreaded D-Day, the job interview day, so that you can ace the interview in style with complete ease. And finally, you need to learn how to negotiate a high salary for yourself, make the job shift without burning bridges with the company you're leaving, and create a rockstar first impression in the new organization. Our limited time together makes it impossible for me to share how to master all these steps with you in this webinar. Therefore, I'd like to introduce you to a special package that continues our conversation. I'd like to welcome you to the Dream Job course for young professionals that has been created with insights, advice and guidance from 15 of India's best and brightest HR directors on how you can get great jobs at entry and junior management levels. In these interviews, they reveal how they actually hire candidates and specifically how you can get great jobs that are right for you. These directors are from top companies like Unilever, Coke, Pepsi, Microsoft, American Express, Citibank, Ericsson, Amazon, and many other great organizations. There isn't a course like this anywhere in the world featuring HR directors giving you authentic advice on successful job search. The Dream Job course for young professionals is a full video-based course with over 60 lessons on all aspects of effective job search. Here's what you get in the program. 19 step-by-step lessons that will form the foundation of your job search success. These lessons build a rock-solid foundation on how to search for good jobs and get them. And these lessons alone will put you light years ahead of your competition who won't have a clue about all the strategies and tactics you'll quickly learn. 7 lessons on how to answer the top 24 difficult job interview questions with my advice on how to structure your answers and come out of that grilling like an ace. 20 lessons where I've placed each of the top HR directors in the hot seat and grilled them on specific topics regarding how you can successfully ace interviews. In these lessons, they open up and reveal some hidden gems most job seekers are unaware about. 15 lessons that are almost like having each of the HR directors in your home personally coaching you. These are 20 to 30 minute video lessons with each of the HR directors where we go into great details on hiring strategies. All these lessons are video based and you can also get your doubts clarified by me after watching each of them. In addition to the Dream Job course, I've also included 5 fast action mega bonuses for you. They're called fast action bonuses because they're only available if you take quick action and buy the program during this webinar. First is a complete course called the Rise to the Top on career management and planning. This helps you get faster promotions and salary hikes. You see, the Dream Job course will help you get your next dream job that's right for you. But once you get a job, how do you ensure that you shine in it and get faster and regular promotions? How do you get noticed by top management as a high potential employee? The Rise to the Top course is a 50-lesson video-based program that helps you do that. So while the Dream Job course will come handy every couple of years as you change jobs, the Rise to the Top course will come in handy. It will be very useful every couple of months to sharpen your career enhancement skills. This 50-lesson course has also been created with insights from 8 top HR experts from India and abroad. Next, you get a resource kit of downloadable interview checklists, interview question templates, a job search tracker, a toolkit of 30 resources every job seeker must have, and my personal resume template that you can copy and use. Plus, you get 3 very important video-based lessons which cover the 9 major job search mistakes job seekers make that hold them back from guaranteed success. Plus, you get a course on video cover letters and video resumes. This will put you right at the front of the line on the cutting edge of technology. To differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack, you need to be different, and video resumes are a great way to do that. By the way, don't let the phrase video resume scare you. Even in a video resume, you don't have to get in front of the camera. Surprised? In this course, you learn how to create a great video cover letter or resume without even facing the camera once. And finally, you get exclusive access to our private Facebook group called Dream Job Rockstars, where like-minded job seekers like you come together in a safe and supportive community to help each other, get advice, network for opportunities, and learn career management and job search strategies via regular Facebook Live broadcasts featuring me and my special guests on a regular basis. Now, Amit Jain, an industry leader and head honcho of AkzoNobel's Northern Europe operations. By the way, AkzoNobel is one of the world's largest paint manufacturing companies, says this about the program. The Dream Job course is an excellent addition to technical courses job seekers may be taking to enhancing their career prospects. The program is well designed and gives you real insights into the world of hiring. Cargill is the world's largest private firm, and Siraj Chaudhary, its chairman for India, recently said, "I think Vikram's work in getting HR directors from top companies to share job search strategies with corporate professionals is noteworthy. I'd encourage every job seeker to learn from the program and implement the strategies that HR experts share." Rajesh Sood is widely recognized as a respected leader in the financial services sector, and he was quite blunt about the Dream Job course, saying that this course is a unique concept designed for managers who are serious about getting ahead in today's competitive environment. I'm glad to see senior HR experts share their advice and experience on the platform with job seekers who should benefit from it. I'm now opening the doors for membership. You'll see an orange colored button that has just appeared on your screen. Click it to see the course. Access will remain open till the end of the webinar, after which you will not be able to access the course or the mega bonuses at this incredible price. When you click the See the Course button, a new tab will open up in your browser featuring the course homepage, and this webinar will continue playing here. Let's see what you can create with this course. A complete job search strategy that brings results rather than running around like a headless chicken chasing recruiters. You'll be able to draft a rock-solid resume and LinkedIn profile that almost nobody has. You'll be much more confident about how to answer difficult job interview questions. You'll create lifelong networks of contacts for your job search now and career later. You'll create a positive, favorable impression with your new employer in days of joining the new company. You'll snag a great salary hike as you discover how to negotiate better increments. And you'll become a lifelong member of a supportive community of young professionals through our Facebook group. Alright, let's go and take a look at what the Dream Job course looks like. And this is the course page. Once you come here, if you ever want to get in touch with us, just click this Contact Us tab here. Let me click it. It opens up into this little box. Enter in your email address, your mobile number if you want us to get in touch with you, and leave a message, and I respond back very quickly. Now, here's a little video I'd like you to watch. And once you watch this brief 1-minute video, let's scroll down and you'll see that the course has been created with inputs from a lot of top HR directors from American Express, GE, Amazon, KPMG, Microsoft, Citibank. They are international experts on body language, Ericsson, and many, many others. Now, this is what the course curriculum looks like, and we'll take a dive into this once we log in as a member. So I'm going to scroll down. And remember that as you're going through this, if you want to see the entire course curriculum, do remember to click this little box here. So when you click it, it opens up to reveal the entire course. As you can see, there are lots of lessons. This is a feature-packed course on all aspects of job search. In addition to the Dream Job course, along with the course, you also have access to 4 courses. One is called the Rise to the Top, which is a course on how to get promoted faster and earn higher paychecks. There is a resource kit of downloadable trackers, templates. There is my personal resume template that you can use to create yours. Then there is a course on the 9 top job interview mistakes most candidates make and how you can avoid them. And a course on video resumes and cover letters. Video resumes are fast becoming very popular in some fields, and this is something that you need to know how to create for yourself if you want to differentiate from the rest of the pack. Of course, these courses are free for you because they are part of the Dream Job course bundle. And as you scroll down, I've got a set of FAQs. These are answers to some questions you may have. Some of the questions that I keep getting all the time is how long do I have access to the course for? You have lifetime access to the course, and it is 24/7 unlimited access. When does the course start and finish? It's a self-paced online course, so you decide when it starts and when it finishes. So from that perspective, the course never ends. There is no set start or end date. If you're unhappy with the course for whatever reason, if you feel that the course isn't right for you, you write to me within 7 days of signing up for a no questions asked 100% refund. Here are testimonials from industry stalwarts about the course, including from the chairman of Infosys. But what's really important for me are what are my students saying about the program, and I have some glowing testimonials about the course as well as how the course has helped students get top jobs. All right, once you come into the members area, this is called the My Courses area. This is how it's laid out. But just before we do that, once you're a member, if at any time you require any kind of help or support, all you have to do is click this link, help and support. It will open up into this form where you can write to me for any help. A ticket is automatically created and I respond back quickly. Let's go back to My Courses. And these are the courses that are waiting for you. Let's start first with looking at the Dream Job course, which is the main course on job search. So this is the course area. This is the course curriculum area. And there are 2 other links here. There is a link to your instructor. That's me. So there's a little biodata about the instructor. And this is a link to the other courses that are included in your pack. So if I click this, you can see the other courses we spoke about. I'm going to click course curriculum and come back here. This is how the course is laid out into sections. There's a section 1, section 2, and under each section you find various lessons. And the number after each lesson is the duration of the video that you have in that lesson. As you can see, almost all the lessons have videos. They're video-based lessons. Now, the second section here is step-by-step strategies for job search success. We go and look at how to get great jobs, and I've created a step-by-step series of lessons which will enable you to do that. These are answers to the top 24 most difficult questions that stump job seekers in an interview, and I've given you advice on how to answer them. Then I've put the HR directors on the hot seat and asked them a lot of questions that you need answers to. For example, how long should a good resume be? Or what are the mistakes that candidates make regularly in an interview? We can look at, are salaries negotiable? What if you don't have a top degree? What is your future? And much, much more. And then there is a section on very detailed interactions with each of these HR directors, which are 20 to 30 minutes long, where you can go deep into how companies in a particular sector hire. So for example, if you want to work in a bank, this would be a good video to watch. If you want to work in an FMCG company, you may want to listen to how Coke does hiring. If you want to join a tech e-commerce startup for an e-commerce company, you may want to look at how does Amazon do its hiring, so on and so forth. And that's how the course is laid out. Now let's deep dive into one specific lesson. So I'm going to look at, let's look at this one. How long should a good resume be? I'm going to click that. It opens up into the lesson. There is a video followed by something called things to think about, which is points of reflection on the lesson that you've just learned, a small quiz, and you can post comments to the group and to me about what you have learned, or you can ask questions that you may have which are related to the lesson. Let's now click the video and watch a few seconds of this lesson. In your opinion, how long should a resume be, and what are the things it should cover and perhaps not cover?
Okay, one of the basics, one of the absolute basic hygiene factors, which is about the...
So that's a sample of a video lesson. Going back. And once you're back here, you're back into your course curriculum area, you finish the lessons one after the other. All the sections are built one on top of the other, so they go from basics to intermediate to advanced level. And once you finish that, you click back here, this little orange button, and you come back to my courses where you have the other courses waiting for you. Now, obviously the content in all of them is different, but it's laid out in the same manner as the Dream Job course. So great, I hope you like this little walkthrough of the Dream Job course, what's inside waiting for you. It's great content with authentic advice from HR directors. I hope you take up this offer, and I really look forward to seeing you in the inside. Every month you get a paycheck, right? And you use a part of the paycheck to pay your bills, part for entertainment, and a part for savings. What happens next month? The same amount of money comes back again and again every month. So money replenishes itself, right? But think about time. Does time replenish itself? Can you bring back the time you spent yesterday? By investing in my course with a little bit of money that replenishes itself, I'm saving you months of time based on my years of experience and those of the HR directors. The time you would be wasting searching for jobs unsuccessfully that would never come back. In a few days, the cost of the course will come back to you via your paycheck. But without this course, the time you waste will never come back. Now, I'm sure you've watched other webinars before. So what happens after a webinar? First, you're all fired up and charged. But one day later, you've forgotten 50% of what you've learned, and in 2 days, you're back to your old habits. Which is sad, because I've just shown you the 3-step strategy that I've personally used to get great jobs during my career. Now, old habits are hard to break, and the only way to break them is by investing in this course right now so that I can help you immediately. If you don't, you'll slip back to your old habits, and all that you've learned in the last 1 hour will be wasted. Look, there are 2 kinds of people in the world. First is people like us, you and me, action takers, people willing to learn, apply, make changes, and move out of our comfort zone. And then there are the others, people who crib, complain about how bad their jobs are, but are just not willing to invest the time, money, and effort to improving their lives. I'm very clear that my courses are not for this second group. Alright everybody, it's time for this webinar to come to an end. Now's the time to decide whether you are a serious, committed job seeker looking for a better job or not. Remember the 500 applicants for each job on LinkedIn I showed you at the beginning of the webinar? The Dream Job course and the 5 mega bonuses are your secret weapon to beating that competition for awesome jobs and building your career. Invest in yourself and see what a huge difference it makes to your job search success. Thanks for your time. I'll talk to you soon, and we'll leave this last slide up so that you can see what you get when you sign up for the course. Bye.